Yeah, my FMP pitch. Nice. So I had a couple of ideas floating around before we got the brief for FMP. The first one was looking into creepypastas. Now, what I've kind of been doing with FMP, especially with idea generation, is going back to my old films that I've made for previous projects and thought, what's good, what can I take out of them? Could I remaster or remake one of them maybe? And one of them that I did actually quite like was my analog horror from last year. Even though there's no striking visuals, I thought it was the audio that really sold it. So I was looking into different creepypastas similar to the Mandela catalogue that I could kind of maybe go off of. And the idea that I came up with after looking into a few was the Russian sleep experiments. Now, people that don't know, the Russian sleep experiment was a creepypasta that went around about 10 years ago. It's not real.
You did an experiment.
It's not real, I'm telling you.
No, my psychologist thought that.
The idea of the Russian sleep experiments was that these Russian freedom fighters were taken as prisoner, and the Russian government was trying to experiment a new gas on them, and the gas was meant to make these prisoners stay awake for an extended period of time. There was 5 captive, all of them died in the end, but I thought this would kind of be a cool script to kind of run an idea off of, maybe expand my own kind of little flick on it, to really get a story. The reasons I went away from doing this is because I'd have to have a cast of 5 plus scientists plus maybe 1 or 2 extras. It just seemed like a big cast and it'd be hard to pull off and get everyone together at the same time. Second was, I've got some pictures that will come up, would be a makeup artist good enough to replicate, good enough, trying to replicate what the creepypasta was getting at, the photos especially, that came out for it. It'd be so hard to get someone that could do that. I know that I'm not qualified at all. I can't tell the difference between mascara and whatever else, I don't know. So that's kind of why I went away from that. Also, set would be difficult, trying to find like a chamber or something, having gas come from the ceiling. It just felt far too difficult and it was like I was reaching for something that just wasn't there. So I went away from the Russian sleep experiments and I went towards my own kind of stories that were a little bit more grounded, but felt like they were a lot more achievable. So this comes on to my next idea. Sorry, I went one too far there. I'll come back a little bit.
It's fine. Chill.
Yeah. There you are. So, something that I used to do as a kid, I say kid, I was maybe 13, 14, I was on r/short stories, r/scary short stories, and I would look at different people's kind of short stories in general, and I would upload my own on there. One of them that's still kind of like being on my shoulder to this day was a story that I wrote, I think I was in like middle of year 10, start of year 11, about a family that had a missing son. He came back and he just wasn't the same. We don't know what happened to him. We just knew he wasn't the same. And I kind of had this plot that went on that the eldest son of the family might get attacked by this younger person, and it's kind of like a loop. He wakes up, he gets found by this guy, brought home to his family, and he's in the shoes of his younger brother. The reason I went away from this one is because I just wasn't passionate enough about it. It seems like an idea from ages ago, and I just feel like I've kind of thought about more ideas that actually have some sort of meaning and some sort of basis to them. And I just kind of crept away from this idea slowly. It was my original idea. It was the idea that if you asked me at the start of this year, I was going to say that I'd do this, but a little bit similar to what Lucas said, horror isn't my genre. It's not the genre I go home to watch at night. So even though a big strength from my first year was my analog horror, I just felt like there wasn't enough passion, enough spark there. which went on to my final idea. What I'd done was I just had a night. I sat back and I thought, what is the best thing that I've produced while I've been at college? And one shot that doesn't kind of escape my mind of what I've done is this one that I made for the portmanteau. It was the particles, and I see Asa, Asa did help. Me, Asa and Riley produced this using a fish tank and glitter. And it doesn't look the same once you've done it, but with help from Paddy, I think that looks great. And I was quite disappointed because when we were thinking about the script for Portmanteau, I didn't know where to fit it in. I knew I loved it, I loved it, and I worked on it really, really hard, but I just didn't know where to fit it in. So I tried to think about what I could kind of do to incorporate them sort of visuals into a script, and that got me thinking about stars, and it got me thinking about different stories to do with stars, and that is not changing the page.
So do you want to run up and just...
Yeah, thanks, Asa.
Is it locked? I'll do it.
Thank you.
You got it? Okay.
So I went away and I thought about stars, and I thought about what story can I incorporate stars or space into, and I thought it'd be really, really cool to make a coming of age story about a guy who is just really deeply in love with the stars and the galaxy and everything around us, and what makes, Earth compared to Mars. And it just struck me as something that was quite simple, something that was really cute. It had some meaning behind it. Why are we here? How is everything here? And it just struck me as something that I'm absolutely wanting to make. I think this is really, really cool. So I kind of went into the plot a little bit. I've decided that my plot is going to be about a young person our age trying to figure out where he belongs in the stars, and trying to figure out if he's moving in the right way. And his safe place is just staring out into the night sky at night and trying to just release everything that's happened that day. And I found this plot really sadly quite relatable. It's something that I used to do quite often, especially living in Morton. You've got the bypass area, and then past that bypass it's just empty fields. So if you took a dog out on 8 o'clock at night on a Saturday, especially in winter months, there'd be stars everywhere. And me and my dad would go, we'd just sit and we'd just stare, and he'd go, that's Orion's belt. I was like, yeah, you told me that yesterday. And it's just something that I've found quite personal, quite relatable, but also quite cute and with a bit of meaning behind it. So what I'm hoping for is a quite uplifting film. I've made a lot of films that are quite dark and quite and I'm kind of wanting to shift away from that while keeping the same kind of dramatic feel to them. The film is a reflection of where I am right now, how I'm feeling, where I think I'm going to, and that's kind of going to be resonated through the plot and the characters. Themes are going to include mental health. There is going to be some drug use, but not serious amounts of drug use, not harmful drug use. It's just going to be there, and it's going to be a light topic I might touch on. It's going to go into relationships and sex. It's going to go into purpose, why we are who we are and where we're going to. Like I said, I'm not going to touch on extreme topics like death and suicide, nor am I going to go into harmful drug use. I just don't think it's the story that needs that, and I don't think that the plot and the feeling that I'm going for kind of needs that there. I'm going to try and remain in 12A in terms of BBFC ratings. Like I said, it's going to be only minimum foul language. Drug use isn't going to be colorized and made to be, glamoured in the film. It could move up to a 15, and I say that it could because, again, it's all about the drug usage. I don't really want to glamorize it, but some people might feel like I'm coming across and glamorizing it. That might be where the shift is. I'm trying to keep in that 12A. So audience, after researching films that are kind of similar to a plot that I have about teenagers not knowing exactly where they are in life, films like The Breakfast Club, films like Stand By Me, I'm trying to stay into that kind of bracket. Stand By Me is more mainly for younger men. I kind of want to be for younger people, which is why I think Breakfast Club kind of works a little bit better with my target audience. It's going to be shot in 4:3 aspect ratio. This has been a trend among films currently. Everyone knows of Saltburn. Saltburn, I got forced to watch it by my girlfriend. It was great, watch it. But it adds storytelling to a... I think you can tell a story with 4:3 by using a different aspect ratio. I think aesthetically it looks fantastic, which is a story I'm looking for. It's about two very arty people, which is why 4:3 is kind of getting integrated in there. I also think it just looks really cool. It looks really, really pleasing, and I kind of want to make one with 4:3. We've got a short little mood board there. I'm going for blues and purples. It's kind of, you know, night sky kind of colours. I've included Moonlight in the bottom right there. It was produced by A24 production company. That's something that I've been looking into quite a lot with A24, is their neon kind of lighting, colours, arrangement. It's just kind of the way they use colours to get across emotion and get across how, you know, someone's feeling compared to someone else. I think it's brilliant. I think everyone should watch Moonlight. I think everyone should watch Come Talk to Me. Just Talk to Me. I think they're a brilliant production company. Yeah. But like I said, blues, purples, whites, blacks, you know, them kind of starry night colours, I suppose. So for promotion, I plan to make multiple trailers. I also plan to have private screenings of an unfinished version of the film, see what people take well, what people didn't really like, if there's any kind of colour grading that I could kind of improve on. I plan to make announcements on social media. I launched a Twitter page with all of my film stuff a couple of months ago. That's been doing quite well. I'm in a few groups with separate filmmakers and small film companies. They're always talking about their stuff. Same with LinkedIn. There's a few groups on there that talk about film stuff all the time. I plan to have posters around college. I haven't mentioned this yet, but one of my actors, Katie, is in the art department. She's offered to help me out with posters, offered to help me design a couple, because I have some in mind, but I'm not an artist. I can't hold a pencil properly. So this is the crew. So obviously you've got me. I'm directing, I'm writing. I'll mostly be behind the camera for most of the film. Producing, obviously I'll edit, and wardrobe design is going to be a big thing for me. I've got something in here about wardrobe later on. Riley is making a return, unfortunately. No, Riley's almost like Wade, Dick and Dom at this point. There's no Tyler Holmes film without Riley Hamilton being there. It's a shame, I know. Next we have Victor. Victor's my co-lead. He's going to be playing one of the main characters. He's playing the guy that doesn't really know where he's at in life. He doesn't know where he wants to go. That's him. I've worked with Victor a couple of times now. He was my frontman for Wastes. He was brilliant. He was always on time. He actually rehearsed while he was at home, which is unheard of for us college students. When we get actors, he rehearsed. I was like blown away. Wow, why? And also a proper callback. My first film, he was that guy in the mask. He's just been there for me. Always on time. Really credible. I wouldn't make another film without Victor. This is his character design that I was thinking. A lot with the colours, a lot with the hoodie, very artsy. Cargo pants, again, very trendy at the minute. If we couldn't find a hoodie that was affordable or something that we already had. Checkered shirts work, again, just to give off that kind of you know, casual but a little bit formal kind of vibe with a bit of arty in there. His music taste, a lot of 70s and 80s with a bit of a space kind of vibe. That's what I'm going for. I go into music a little bit further in. I've not got long left, I promise. This is my colleague Katie. I haven't worked with Katie on a film before, but from what I've heard, she's brilliant. From what I've heard, she's always on time. I've known Katie since year 7, year 8 kind of time, maybe a little bit earlier, primary school years. Katie's brilliant, she's great. We've done performing arts together for GCSE. Brilliant, I love Katie. This is the kind of aesthetic I was going for with Katie. A lot of browns, a lot of whites, a lot of kind of pastel colours. Again, these are two very artistic people trying to find out where they're going and their place in the world, and you know, I kind of want to bring that across with their outfits without someone blatantly saying you're quite artistic, and you know. This is her music tastes, really similar to Victor's character. Again, just more with like a feminine twang on it. I have got more casting to be done, but it's only 2 or 3 characters. Maybe like a side character, mum and dad kind of thing. Not a lot more to be done with casting. It's pretty much all confirmed now. In terms of music that I'm going to be using, I've been in contact with a couple of music labels, none of which have worked yet, surprisingly. I thought I'd get every single one. But yeah, that's kind of the vibe that is going on right now. We've got Drew and Johnny working on music for me. Drew I actually got in contact with a couple of weeks ago. And is it the next slide or is it? Yeah. So Drew's working on a cover of Beautiful Boy by John Lennon. I can't message John Lennon on WhatsApp. I don't know why he won't pick up. So I've asked Drew to do a cover of that for me. It's about half done, half baked. We're trying our best to avoid copywriting. It's a completely new tune. I think the only thing we'd really copy is the lyrics, and we'd try and change that up a little bit to avoid copyright a little bit further. But the tune is completely different to the original song, so I think we'll avoid it there. Renaissance by Home. Again, tried to get the music label for it, didn't work. So I've been in contact with a few YouTube creators to see if they would give me a cover. So far it's kind of worked. I've got a couple of people that have asked to see my work before, so that's still ongoing.
You do know covers don't cover you for copyright.
Yeah, I know, but we're trying to change it enough to avoid copyrighting versions of it, if that makes sense.
I mean, if you're using the lyrics for Beautiful Boy, you're using Beautiful Boy.
Yeah, but oh shit. Yeah, no, we're trying to change it up enough so that it might pass, if that makes sense. Yeah, that's probably a better way of putting. Yeah, take inspiration.
Okay.
So yeah.
Because the Beatles, you will get annihilated for.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean really.
I know.
You will.
But yeah, no, it's what I told Drew originally when I said, by the way, I need this song made for me, yada yada yada, is that I said I want it to feel like Beautiful Boy by John Lennon. It's not going to be Beautiful Boy by John Lennon. Does that make sense?
Right. So it's a different song.
It's a different song.
Right. That's not a cover.
Right. Well.
No, that's not even tomato. That's it's a different song.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
But that's it. And that's okay. That's good.
That's fine. I've learned something. And yeah, Copacabana kind of went the same way, but that's on the last slide. Right. That's everything I can cover. Does anyone have any questions? So that was really quick, and I'm worried.
What do you mean it was really quick?
Like I said, does anyone have any?
Oh right, okay.
No, I'm actually going to say that I really love your idea.
Oh, sweet.
I love the stars. I'm a huge space nerd, and I do a bit of astrophotography in the spare time. So if you need any shots of the night sky or maybe something deeper, anything.
No, that'd be brilliant because.
I'd 100% work with yours.
Yeah.
There's also a film I recently watched, All of Us Strangers, Andrew Scott in. The ending to that, in terms of stars and stuff, and also your aesthetic that you're trying to go for as well, I really highly recommend you watch that film.
Yeah.
It's yeah, if you need anyone to help you film, I want to be there.
Thank you. No, thanks, Ursa. Thank you. Anyone else? Hi, Brody.
There you go. Just with like the fallback route aspect ratio thing.
Yeah.
I hate to bring this up, but TikTok. There's a lot of things I've been seeing recently. It's like people have been like taking like films and like regular red shot and been transforming. It's like the fallback route, but it goes up like a whole.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that could be like a really. Cool
See,
thing.
I had a scene in mind close to the end of the film where kind of everything's kicking off in this guy's life. He's kind of fed up. Everything's and he goes outside and he looks at the stars and all that volume is kind of taken away. It's somber. It's really sweet. And there's a scene in the Hunger Games, in the first Hunger Games. You know the bars that you'd have on the top of the screen. In through Hunger Games, well, the beginning of Hunger Games, they were there, and as she was lifted up into the arena, they kind of swept in, and it was full screen, and it was like, wow, this is like this huge, big arena kind of place. And I was thinking I could do something similar with that. This guy looks into the night sky, all these stars, all these different lights, and it kind of sweeps that way, and it kind of fills the screen. So I have been thinking about something similar. But yeah, no, it's a good recommendation. I'll definitely take it on board because I've actually been thinking about doing that already. But yeah, thanks, Brody.
Anybody else? Can't see.
You okay?
Yeah, you go.
Aspen, do you want to say something?
Have you looked into locations yet? Because I know there's a couple spots around Cumbria that are like stargazing locations,
Yeah.
so they've got trusts in them, so you can't have too much light or anything like that.
Well, yeah, no, we've been to I know that me and Alice, for our last shoot that we done, we went up into Colbeck, and it's kind of close to where Johnny lives. It's this car park out, and
Nobody knocks in your location.
sorry, Johnny doesn't live in Colbeck. But that was really nice. So Colbeck's definitely one, but other than that, not yet. We're yet to do a location recce. I forgot to mention Riley and Victor do drive. So again,
You'll be able to get some.
yeah,
like,
transportation is
further
going to be
locations,
really
yeah.
easy. Yeah.
I'd look into like national trusts and stuff like that, like locations where you're not allowed to use a lot of light.
Right.
Because that's where you'll get like the really nice shots of the sky, like galaxy, maybe not galaxies, but like the cloudy things.
Yeah.
Those that, yeah.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
This
my
could be a
gut
while.
feeling is you should ditch this idea.
Actually, what? Sorry.
My gut feeling is you should ditch this idea. And so let me talk you through my thought process.
Yeah.
I think so. You started off by being really, really passionate about this cool Blizzard video. And I was like, this is great, it's cool. And then you've gone back to what's basically an episode of The Descendants, which is just going to be young actors having arguments, slamming doors. But I'm going to miss you. What am I going to do with my life? What grade do you need to go to uni?
I've got an unconditional from Notts Trent for Salford, which is a backup. That'd be a merit.
My fear is that in order to do this justice, it needs to be quite long.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep people's attention for a long time.
Yeah.
And I don't think you're going to have as much fun doing it as you think.
Okay.
So, but I don't want you to get rid of the idea entirely because
Yeah.
You might have legs. What I want you to do is, but you don't have to,
Yeah.
is do a halfway thing.
Right.
And what I think would be more interesting is if you went around and spoke to teenagers right now and got audio file of them talking about what their fears are right now. So you said, this kind of autobiographical. Everyone in the room is probably feeling the same thing. Some people are too scared to go to uni, some people are scared of other stuff, some people are family commitments, And go around and be like, what are you feeling right now? What do you think the future is for us? What are your hopes for the future? You need to structure it so that you end on like a high and there's a nice kind of narrative. But what you'll then be doing is helping older people understand young people, so it go more viral and the press will be more interested. And what you do with that audio is you then put visuals that you seem to love doing over the top. So then you've got, Alice talking about what she's struggling with right now, and then you've got a picture of a sunrise, and then you've got something else going on, and then you've got some cool visual effects in the studio. And you just make something out of that. And then you could even do, like I've got this kind of like, you know, the band or like little fluffy clouds in school.
Yeah.
It's like, what the sky's like when you were young? That's what I didn't know. It's not. And she's like, oh, she starts saying, we could even put music in amongst it like that. And then kind of have it in times like dripping water, waterfalls in time lapse, like you can have so much visual fun. I think that's way more interesting, and I think that's way more interesting for you as a filmmaker. But what you could do is do that research anyway to inform your script.
Yeah.
And then if at some point you start to realise it's not going to work as a drama, you could be like, okay, I'm now going to spend a week or two just getting those amazing visuals I can, and I'm going to put it under this wall. And I've sent you a link to 5 award-winning short films that do similar. There's researchers, like one's talking about to Indonesian maids, and then there's a visual director. It's not always abstract though. Some other guy